Well, it's not a case of that. It's the bankers and brokerage firms in the United States that caused all these problems. The thing is that the Europeans know that the problems were created deliberately. I mean, this just didn't happen. I mean, sure, there was greed, and they acted like they had a casino and all of that. But it was done deliberately to bring us into world government. It's the only way they can get people to accept world government is to bring them economically and financially to their knees. So what did they talk about at the meeting? They talked about using SDRs. What are SDRs? Special drawing rights. They're issued by the IMF. They have nothing behind them. They've been around for 50 years, and they're used in trade between nations. You would never carry an SDR in your pocket. And that's just another way of creating money and credit. That's all. They didn't talk about a basket of currencies. And even if they did use 10 currencies, so what? None of them got any gold backing. So they'll all fiat currencies too. So until they get a gold-backed currency, you're not going to have a good currency anywhere. And so with that said, the only real currency in the world is gold. So that's where you want to be. Secondly, they talked about the FSB, and the FSB would be running everything financial in the world. That would be all the insurance companies, banks, brokerage firms, private equity, insurance companies, all of those kind of companies worldwide would come into one heading and be run by this committee or whatever they're going to have. It'll take 5 to 10 years minimum, and they may never get it done. But the reason they're doing that is to make it easier for their world government. That's what they want, world government. They want you people in the military to be running around with blue helmets so that you can act for the new world order. Not for America, for the new world order. That's where this thing is headed. The other things that they talked about there were the most important, I think, of what's left. They were saying all the nations committed to not putting up trade barriers, and of course they're already doing it. Russia, China, many other countries are putting up trade barriers, subsidizing their industries, but so on France and the United States. So I see a trade war developing. It'll take 2 to 3 years, but it's going to happen. And it's the best thing that could have happened in the United States. And the reason why is they've destroyed manufacturing in the United States. The only way we're going to get it back is to put on tariffs. And all those companies, those transnational corporations, they get most of their earnings and they hide them offshore so they can't be taxed, and it's legal, incidentally. You can't do it, but they can. And those offshore corporations that they have got to be brought to an end. And once that happens and we put on tariffs, business has to come back to the United States. Why build something in a third world country when you're going to get no benefit out of it? No, let me give you an idea. You make an automobile in Mexico City for $15,000. The same automobile is made in Detroit for $20,000. The cars that are shipped in from Mexico City have a tariff of $5,000 on each car. That brings it up to the cost of the American vehicle. And then the people have a choice. Do I want to buy the vehicle that was manufactured in Mexico, or do I want to buy the one that was manufactured in Detroit? It's as simple as that. And the same thing has to happen with services. IBM is moving everything out of the United States. Everything. Now, companies like that, if they want to do business in America, they should have to pay for it. That's wrong.
I am the wife of a first lieutenant, United States Navy, and we sat here at the dinner table last night and discussing the G20 meeting. We do not see anything, no evidence whatsoever of any reform coming out of the G20. We see, because of our friends that are in the military, that are in Europe and here, about major riots going on in Europe in this display. In our discussion over dinner was there is some mistaken belief that a more healthy new world order has been established. Has this really been established, Mr. Chapman?
Yes, it has. And they want to wrap it up. And they want to amalgamate all of the nations of the world into a new world, one world order. They want to have a one world bank, maybe the IMF or the World Bank. And they want to have a one world currency. And they also want to be able to control everything that people do in each country collectively. Everybody will have the same laws. There will be no sovereignty. There will be no American army or German army. It'll be all a one world army. And then you get into the insidious parts of it. And that is, the next thing that they do is they say, we DNA everybody in the world, and the following people will be allowed to get married. And they'll tell you who you're going to marry, how many children you're going to have, what sex they're going to be. They're going to tell you where they'll go to school, what kind of vocation they will follow, where the mother and father will work. The father might work in San Francisco, the mother might work in Atlanta, Georgia, and the kids go to school in Chicago, and you get to see them for 2 weeks every year. This is what they're up to.